Welcome to my channel, What's Good on TV. My name is Nicole, and I want to thank you for taking a moment to hear my review of Sister Wives Year of Release, Season 19, Episode 5. Right. So this was an okay episode. Now I'm gonna say that first. So it opens up with Kody and Robin. They are on their way to see the twins, and so Kody is super excited. This is his first time getting to see Mykelti's and Tony's twins, and we see them going into the house, and Avalon is there, and they're taking off their shoes and all that good stuff, and hugging the babies and kissing the babies, and even the babies. I mean, it's so amazing how newborns change so fast, because they look like they have already changed a lot within the last time we saw them. And so they're super cute babies. And so Kody's getting, that baby love in. They smell so good. He's smelling the babies. I was like, I know that feeling. Babies do smell so good. And so they are talking a little bit in their confessionals about their relationship with Mykelti, and Kody says that, he still has a good relationship with her, that it's healing, and that he can see something special in Mykelti. And I thought, she's your kid. You should see something special in all of your kids. But he does make a note of saying that he can see something special in her. And Robin says that she feels like Mykelti can see more of the truth, that she knows more of the truth. And I don't know if that's fair to the other kids, to tell the truth. There could be lots of reasons why Mykelti is around, but that's what they're telling themselves, so that's just what I'm going to tell you they said. The production did not miss an opportunity to show us how Avalon kind of responds to Kody. So Avalon, with her cute self, she is being held by her mom. She gives Robin a little tight hug. Ooh. And they said, give Grandpa a hug. And she's like, so then she says, oh, wait a minute, maybe it wasn't. I think it was her dad. Tony was holding her. And so then her mom says, well, fist. Give him a fist. And so she gives him a little fist pump. And that could just be because she's not that used to being around him. Robin had just been there for 2 weeks. But, kids are funny. And production was like, no, we're not going to miss our opportunity to show this part right here. So then they kind of go on, and they're talking a little bit about Mykelti and Sharon, a little bit about how she's progressing after having the children, and she is sharing that she ate her placenta. Yes, her encased, and it was huge, and she even had a picture of it where she took a big bite out of it. Now, I have heard of the placenta being good for nutrients for women. I've heard of using it to make a tea. You dry it out, you make a tea, you drink it. I don't know that because I did it. No. But I have heard tell of that. But I've not heard of just eating it raw. I mean, I was like, oh. But apparently it's supposed to be really good and kind of help with depression. And so Robin was really proud to say that she was one of the first ones to do it, and Janelle and Christine were like, no, and Meri was like, no. But Robin was real proud to say that she did it. They also had this discussion around breastfeeding, which was a little cringy for me. I know they're trying. I felt like maybe they had kept that to add in a little lightheartedness, but at the same time, I was like, no, I don't need it. So apparently, Tony puts the question out there to Christine. I hear in your culture that the sister wives take turns breastfeeding each other's children. And Christine is like, absolutely not. That's not the truth. That's a whole lie. That's not what has ever happened. Janelle is like, no, Janelle ain't breastfeeding nobody else's kids. Absolutely not. And Meri said, well, yeah, I did. I did breastfeed one child that wasn't mine, and it was out of medical necessity. They used to call that being a wet nurse. And Robin jumps on and says, oh, like she's embarrassed to admit it, but yes, it's true. That goes on in our culture. It happens quite a bit. And I thought, what, that is just how this whole family is. It's like y'all are from the same world or the same place, but no one ever has the same experience. Now, it is true. no culture is like a monolith. So it is very possible that wherever Robin is from, the women did that. That's what they did in polygamy. And wherever Christine is from, her branch of polygamy, a church that she grew up out of, because I don't think they were in the same branches, that women didn't do that over there. But they're always at odds in that way. And I thought that breastfeeding conversation kind of showed how, yes, you're in the same belief, but not of the same mind, right? And so then we got some video of Christine. She discussed her second date with David and how excited she was and how she had to explain to him that she was a polygamist. However, David took it really well. You know, she was nervous about telling him, but she had to tell him, you know. And so she told him that she was a polygamist, and he didn't need it explained to him because he apparently has two sisters who live in polygamy. And so she kind of tiptoed up to it and said, hey, is it what you're interested in? And he said, absolutely not. So she was relieved about that. And so we see her being excited and giddy in this kind of new experience. One of the things she wondered about was she even had a conversation with him about whether or not he was attracted to her. And I felt like that was a little sad that she felt the need to have that conversation. And, you know, I'm betting she probably felt the need to have that conversation because, you know, Kody, when they were dating or getting to know each other, she found, you know, he said he was never really attracted to her. And that probably did a whole number on her because when they were younger, she probably didn't pick up on that. She probably thought he was attracted. He might have been acting like he was all the way attracted because why would you assume that someone who is courting you is not attracted to you? That kind of goes hand in hand. And that's what I thought was kind of sad, that she felt the need to ask David, hey, are you attracted to me? Because, you know, the man agreed to the date. He put the question out to you, let's go out on a date. So he has to have some attraction. But it kind of seems like that Kody treatment is kind of ringing in the back of her head that she felt the need to say, you really like me, right? You're attracted to me, right? Not just my personality, but all of this. Oh, okay. And so apparently he said, yes, give me some more of that. All right. We see Janelle and Gabriel. And he has gorgeous hair, by the way. But they are making breakfast and chatting. And the interesting thing about this breakfast is they start making breakfast and they're talking about Kody and how he preferred things. But it struck me like they were talking about Kody as if he was in past tense, like somebody they used to know. And I was like, oh, that's sad. You know what? Because they were saying things like, yeah, he always used to want to go to restaurants and get some hot water with lemon. And I was like, you know, the man ain't somebody you used to know. He's still here. We found out that Gabe is actually in counseling and kind of working through some things. Janelle explains to us in confessional why the reconciliation has not occurred. So even though they're out of COVID, they haven't been able to mend things because apparently Kody, you know, he wanted apologies. He wanted some groveling, I think. And people were not willing to kind of move on from it so fast, which is sad. And you could tell that Janelle's over it. She's done. I've heard some other people say they think Janelle would take him back in a minute. I don't think she would. I think she is pretty much, and she said something a little bit later that made me realize, I think Janelle's like 10 past done with him. We hear Gabriel discuss a conversation that he had with his dad because he's talking about how his father was, you know, reaching out to him. And so one day he leaves him a message that basically says, I forgive you. Can you forgive me? And Gabriel was like, for what? You know, what do I need to be forgiven for? And I thought that was really interesting that to phrase it that way. I forgive you. Will you forgive me? Because but it's not an apology. That is not an apology. That is a roundabout way of saying, okay, let's just move on, right? And so that wasn't good enough for Gabe. Because Gabe's like, I'm not owning up to anything. And so I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about, should Gabe have accepted that version of an apology to move on with things, to say, okay, all right, what you think I'm wrong for? All right, you forgiven me, I'll forgive you. What does it look like to go on past this? Is it something that you can actually go on past, or would you feel like, hey, we gotta figure some other things out first? But I thought that was a really interesting way to try to back into moving on. One of the things that Gabe says is that he is not interested in having a relationship with his dad unless he assumes some accountability, and that he has to, be willing to change in order for him to be in relationship with him. And that's a tricky thing, because at the end of the day, we can't make someone be something they're not. There's a difference between can't and won't. So sometimes we have to assess whether or not, is it this person can't do a thing or they won't do a thing? Is Kody limited in such a way that he can't show up any differently? Like, I forgive you, will you forgive me? That might be the best he can do, right? If so, can we get comfortable with saying, okay, this is just how he is, and if I'm gonna have a relationship with him, then I have to be able to radically accept this is how he shows up. Just like we're not going to be mad at our dog because they have a tail. Like, I don't like tails. Why does dog got a tail? We go, look, he got a tail. I guess I have to stick him with the tail. Sometimes we may have to think about, hey, this person, they can't do no better. They can't show up any differently. This is how they come. I guess I have to love them like this. And so I think, in a way, that may be the place that Savannah has gotten to, which is extremely mature. Because one of the things that Janelle tells us is that Kody visits his daughter every couple of months, and they go out, and I just thought that was so sad, because I think Savannah is still a minor. She's still a minor, but he comes and sees her every couple of months. And I'm curious to know more about that. When he comes and sees her, does he also take her to Robin's house? Does he do things with the others? Or is it just a one-on-one? Why is that? But Savannah apparently has come to the realization that this relationship is what it is. And I will just come to terms with, this is who my dad is. This is how he shows up. I'll just make peace with this. Some people can do that. Some people can decide, like, hey, this doesn't say anything about me, that he can't do any better, but I will, have with him what relationship I can, and I will have to show up with this. So we don't see we haven't seen Savannah at all in confessionals, or actually on camera that I can recall this season, other than pictures. So maybe she's taking a step back. We see that they discuss Kody's desire for patriarchy, and we saw him on camera saying, we're going to return back to it. But he's real quick to say, I said that because I was mad, which is probably true, but we were never there, so what's the problem? But one of the things that we hear Gabriel say, and his conversation with his mom, that I felt like was, okay, that's the gospel, that's the truth, was he said his father was only doing what he thought was right for the family he chose. So Kody was only doing what he thought was right for the family he chose. And so I can definitely see how his children felt that. Like, he is choosing Robin and their kids, and he is wanting to keep them safe and protected, which means locking all y'all down. Which means y'all gonna have to sacrifice, because I gotta make sure they're okay. We got these nannies coming in. I got traveling to do, but y'all increase the danger by doing whatever y'all doing. So lock y'all down, and you know what? You could tell there's a certain amount of healing that's gone on with him, that he could actually talk about that in a way that he wasn't pained. I remember in an earlier season where he talked about his dad calling him and didn't realize it was his birthday, and how pained he was by that. But now that we see Gabe talking about his father and his relationship, and he's able to talk about it in a way where he's not pained, shows that he has healed a lot and come to terms with some things and has support that he needs. I thought it was interesting when Kody was denying some of the things. I guess the producer was telling him that these people are saying about him, because they don't put him in a room. They don't put him in a room so we can all see it work out. So one of the things that Kody says when he's denying the patriarchy and the COVID accusations, he says, "I love my wives and my children." And I was like, Kody, you've been lying so much and so long. Do you not remember how to keep these lies straight? Now, the first seasons, you were lying to us. All of them was lying to us, tell the truth. Telling us we just big happy family. Love needs to be multiplied, not divided. Oh, we're so happy. It's so wonderful. Happy, happy, love, love. And then we found out from the last few seasons, I never liked none of them women. I don't know why I had to live with them. I never loved them at all. And then as well, kind of loved them a little bit. And then I met Robin, and I realized I didn't like none of them. Pick a side. There's a debate over, not a debate. So Janelle says that one of her children says that he had said to the others that he wished that he had waited and just married Robin. And Kody was quick to deny that. He was quick to deny that he ever said that conversation. And you know what? I could see Kody saying it. I could see, because he gets mad and he says things. And, and sometimes I don't think he's thinking about what he's actually saying. And so it's very possible, because Janelle said, multiple children said he has said things in that vein. I wish that I had just waited for, because if he didn't say it, he sure enough act like it. He has sure enough act like it. I feel like he might even said something along those lines in these confessionals. Gabriel says that he thinks that COVID was an opportunity for him to live the life he really wants with Robin. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. Janelle agrees, signed on to, this was the opportunity for him to say, you know what, this is a chance for me to have her and not have to do all the work of being with all these other women. We see Meri, and Meri is being interviewed, and she's talking about how she has went to the church and she is seeking a release. So in their religion or in their church, there is a difference between being legally divorced and having a spiritual release, which means that they won't be bonded to each other in heaven. So she requested this from her church. She contacted Kody and told Kody that if you want to be involved, I've made these efforts to follow up with our church leaders. And Kody didn't say a word. Kody didn't say anything. I don't even know if he got the text. She should have checked on that. I thought it was interesting that Meri still refers to it as our church and felt the need to get this spiritual relief, which shows that apparently she still has some level of belief, because none of the others seem to have that level of belief. Janelle was like, I didn't even know we still go to church there. I teed a little bit when she said that. She was like, we still go to church there. But Janelle said that she didn't feel the need to do that because she doesn't consider herself a member of the church there. Kody doesn't go to church there anymore. Christine almost had a little bit of contempt because she was like, those people don't have anything to do with my life. I don't answer to them. I said, okay, tell us how you really feel. Meri lets us know that she got her release from her spiritual marriage based on the grounds of abandonment. And Kody lets us know that he did not appreciate it. He didn't even want to go into detail about what it was said. He just said he was offended and he didn't want to go into it. And they let him do a whole lot of things he don't want to do for a check that he get. And so he didn't go into it. But Meri tells us that Kody doesn't like the word abandonment, but she feels like that is a very accurate thing that he did. And I can see where she would feel abandoned emotionally by him. I mean, because he basically said, you can hang around this family, but I will not engage with you other than to be pleasant like I would if we was at a social gathering. I'm not having any other kind of relationship with you at all. That she was left out there. She was left out there. Now he probably feels like he did not abandon her because he did offer her that space in the barn. He said, "You can stay out here in the barn with the other stuff I don't want." But she probably is right in feeling very much abandoned in this relationship. And I thought, and then we hear Kody kind of elaborate on why he stayed in the relationship for as long as he did. And I felt a little bit like he was blaming Robin. He says he stayed in because Robin felt that if they just waited on God, that things would change between them or with Meri. So it hit my ear like he was saying, I would have been left Meri. I would have been left Meri. But Robin said, let's wait on God. And that'll fix things. That'll change things. You know what? I believe in God. I believe in God and I believe in waiting on God. But you got to do your part. That's the act of faith. Like, okay, I'm going to take a step. God going to take two. So he didn't do anything. He just waited. And then he said, okay, that didn't work. And Meri finally went away. And I agree with Meri. Meri said that she felt like he just wanted to do nothing so that Meri would make the decision to leave and he could wash his hands of it and say, it was her decision. She left. I didn't leave. She left. And pretty much that's what he did. He said, I can wait you out because it's easy for him to wait Meri out because he has a cushy life. Excuse me. He has, the wife he wants, the beautiful house, the kids around him. So it's easy he could have waited out 20 more years. He could have waited out 20 more years and wasted all of Meri's life. And this is one thing I said I need to remind my daughters of as they get older. So you need to be careful with some men folk, and maybe just people in general. But some people, some men will waste your whole life. And you gotta be the one that care about your time, because some men, they will waste your whole life. This man been with Meri since she was 19 years old, and acting like he hasn't wanted her for the past 10, 12 years. And he could have just have easily ended this relationship, but no, he don't care about wasting her good years. All right. So Meri is free, and you know what? Meri said, I don't want to be the bitter ex-wife, and she's not. You could tell that she said it was hard. You could tell she was sad, but she also said she was excited about what's in her future. So I hope that she only has good things in her future, and I hope that's what these next seasons of Sister Wives is seeing these women move on to some happier next. So Meri says she's excited about her future. She also tells us she didn't tell the others like Janelle and Christine because they don't really talk, and she has only shared it with her child. She's only shared it with Leon. And I had to wonder, I know why there's an issue between Mykelti and Meri, right? I'm not clear on what has happened in none of these other, she only has a good relationship with Robin's kids. But what is with these, she has been around since they were babies too. But Meri is never factored into the mothers when like the other children are talking about the mothers, I understand it was rough between, I think Gwen too. There was Gwen and Mykelti that had some issues with Meri. But what about the other children? Like Hunter and Gabe. And so anyway, I'm always kind of curious about that. So Janelle is sharing that she did know about their spiritual release because Kody had called her to talk about something else, and he tossed that in. And I said, now you see that? He talks about this family being full of gossips, even though I'm going to put a pin in that. He says this family is full of gossip. Define gossip, because to me, if you are a family and things is happening in the family and that's what you're talking about, that's not gossip. That's not gossip. So if if there's something going on with my daughter, say she's breaking up with somebody, and I discuss that with my husband, we're not gossiping. I'm telling you what's going on. So she is speaking with Kody, and Kody is sharing. So for some reason, he is sharing with her, I'm getting a spiritual release from Meri. And so Janelle is like, well, good for her. And she lets us know she don't need it. She don't care about it. I did wonder, did Kody tell Janelle about the spiritual release in an attempt to say, go get you one too, girl? Let's all get free. I did wonder, did you do that so that Janelle would be like, let me get one too? Because apparently, unless you get a release, you spend all of eternity together. Maybe he don't want that. So we see Christine, and Christine says, congratulations, good for her. I don't need it because I'm not owned by these people. And then we see Robin, who is crying about the spiritual release and saying how she still hopes that they can all be good friends. Really, Robin? Y'all gonna be good friends when you couldn't? Okay. Couldn't be good sister wives, but you're gonna be good friends. Okay. So then we're back with Janelle and Gabriel. Anyway, and I made a little note in the back that I need trees like that for my house, because in the background, Janelle has up these Christmas, they look like Christmas trees, and they have sparkly lights in them and no tree. I said, I need something like that. I got to see if I can find me some Christmas trees, but I noticed maybe they're not Christmas decorations, because she didn't seem to have any other Christmas decorations other than these trees. But anyway, love me some Janelle. So Janelle and Gabriel are still having breakfast, and he kind of shares with us how he feels about Robin. And he is sharing that he feels like Robin has a victim mentality, and she does. She wants to, woe is me, they're picking on me, little old me. I ain't do a thing wrong. So, he shares that he feels like Robin has a victim mentality, and that he can't see having a relationship with Robin if Robin wants to hold on to the story that she's being treated badly and her children were being treated badly while they were receiving all this favorite treatment, and that he just can't see having a relationship with her if that's what it is. And I can see that. Everybody's entitled to how they feel about a thing. But he does say that he would like to still have a relationship with Robin's kids, which I thought was really sweet. And, again, a little sad, because I get the feeling like Robin's family, they're one of those families like, listen, we can't be friends with you if you don't like our mama. If you don't like my sister, I don't like you. If you don't like my brother, I don't like you. So I get the feeling they're that kind of family, and that they're not going to have relationships with other people who don't get along with her. So it's kind of sad, but I think that may be how it is. Could be wrong. Janelle shares that the kids are leery, which I thought was an interesting word. They're leery of Robin, because Robin is always looking for the opportunity to twist things, to say, you did this and now I'm, wounded or hurt, or you need to apologize. And so they're very leery of being, and I thought that was an interesting thing for her to say, that the kids are uncomfortable with, because I'm thinking all of y'all should have felt that. Like, that's not something that she just do with the children. That's something she did with all of y'all too. So, but she didn't say she was, I guess she said, I'm grown, I ain't worried about it. But yeah, that's something all of y'all should have been a little bit worried about. So we also get Kody. He gets so worked up about Robin and these relationships. I can see where these women will be like, do you see how this man carry on about her? Because he gets in the confessional and he says, up until recently, Robin begged Janelle for a relationship. He begged her, and she is a relationship coward. I was like, so much. I was like, okay. Like my daughter would say, okay, bucko. Um, we hear Gabrielle. We hear Gabe. I'm calling Gabe. Gabe says that Kody's biggest problem with him is that he was able to calmly say to him and break it down that you are the one hurting this family. And his father could not take that. And I was like, but it was the gospel truth. He is the one. I mean, I don't know about polygamy. I don't live polygamy. But had he been better able to say, I have to be fair with all of my wives. I got to keep all these relationships. And see, Robin is not on this pedestal, but you know what? I'm going to have to keep you in check like I keep them in check. Maybe they'd been better off. But I always knew that this family wasn't everything they were showing us. Because years ago, they had all the children in confessional. And they asked all the kids, did any of them want to live polygamy? And Leon was the only one that said, I think I would. And I knew right then, I said, they're not living the life that they're showing us, because none of these kids are choosing it. All these kids they got, none of them said they would choose this life. And I said right then, they faking it. Something ain't right, something ain't right. None of them would choose it. No, only one said they would live it. The funny thing, back to the conversation. So what's interesting is Gabe talked about this conversation with Kody. Kody gets right in the confessional and says that never happened. None of that conversation ever happened. Not, it was misunderstood. No, I didn't say that part. He said none of it never happened. I said, oh, Lord have mercy. Somebody a whole lie then. Somebody is a whole lie. The next thing we see is Robin is up 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's crying in the bathroom, and she's telling us again how she wanted to live polygamy, how this was her dream. Stop telling us. How many times are you going to show us Robin crying, telling us that this is what she wanted, and it's hard to let. I feel like I have seen this. Maybe it's just in my mind, but I feel like I've seen it a lot of times. Multiple ways this woman has said, I always wanted to live this. I always want. Stop showing me this. So anyway, they showing us pictures from when she's young again. I wanted to live. I had a testimony. She says she's upset because the Christmas isn't going to be as great as the Christmases in the past. And that Meri said she wasn't coming to the Christmas. She said Meri doesn't want to do Christmas with them. I'm like, girl, is you okay? Are you okay? You thought Meri was going to come to the Christmas with the husband that she divorced twice, in the natural and in the spiritual. You thought she was coming to Christmas. That tickled me for some reason. I was like, Mary's not coming to Christmas. Why would she? But she's upset because Meri also isn't coming. And so they show us a bunch of stuff from Christmas past where they're opening up gifts and how great it was. And, Robin is crying and saying how this isn't what the life she wanted for herself. Girl, it's a whole club for that. It's a whole club for people who ain't living the life they wanted. It is. You got to come to terms with it. But she's going to try to put on a brave face so her kids can have a good Christmas. And then we see Janelle and Christine, and not together, but they're talking about Christmases past too, and how great it was and how sweet it was. And Christine says something I thought was really great, because they're in a good place. They seem happy. They're at peace with things. So Christine is saying that they had great Christmases in the past, but now is the time to start new traditions, and to have traditions not based on things in the past, but the things you want in the future. And I thought, that is so spot on. Not based on things in the past, but what it is that you want in the future. And Kody kind of wraps up by saying, God save me and Robin. That where he is he's like, all I can think is God save the queen. He's like, just, God save me and Robin. He's hoping that, they can start mending their relationship. And you know what? That's what the rest of this season and all the other seasons need to be about. I don't want to see no more Robin crying about how this ain't what she wanted. you're crying more than the people who found out they wasn't loved at all. Robin is crying more than the people who found out they wasted the last 10, 12 years of their life. The past, not, they didn't waste their life, but it wasn't what they thought it was. So, Robin, stop all crying, girl. You're supposed to be like, okay, I won. But I do think it was okay, but I do think in the upcoming, I want to see y'all move on to some happy. I mean, when you think back on this episode, we saw a lot of talking heads. We saw Gabe and Janelle making breakfast and them holding the baby. Those were the scenes. Everything else was talking heads. Can we see these dates? Can we see you go out on a date? Can we see Meri working at the bed and breakfast? Can we see that? Can we see, at least show me Robin and what's her name? What's his name? Kody. Show me y'all calling these kids up. Hey, we love you. Click. Oh, hey, we love you. Click. Show us that. I mean, I really see that. Show us something. But hopefully, I'll keep watching. Anyway, thank you so much. You know, I greatly appreciate it if you would like and share and all the good things. Leave me a comment. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.